In this section, you will going to learn how to manage exception at the endpoint level with REST service. That is managing exception in the controller action. Okay, we will have an example for a token service with a token controller, and we will have a model of token. So you can see how we will handle this. Okay, now to manage exception at the endpoint level, let's have a small example that we will create. So we will use a token, and let's see how we will do this. First, we need a new package for service, and we also need another package, new package for the exception like this. Okay, so the next thing, we will create a new class in the model, and we will call this token details. Okay, and let's have some field inside this. We'll have private and integer token. So this is all we need to have here. It is not some lot of field. Okay, so we will create the getters and setters for this. Generate getters and setters for this. So in the exception, we will create a new exception class that will handle the error that we may have in the token service before implementing the token service. Let's have for the exception new class and call the token length exception. Okay, so this will handle the token length, and let's extend the throwable, and we'll have a constructor to generate a constructor. Let's go to this, generate a constructor from a super class. So let's remove this and generate a constructor like this. Okay, the next thing we will have is the message to pass to the throwable. Okay, so that when we catch exception, we will have to see this message. So here we will have the message token length requirement felt. Okay, so let's create a service class, token service, that will use this exception that we just create, token service, and we need to annotate this with @service. Okay, so it's fine now, and what we will do next is that we will have a public void token length manager. So we'll pass the token, and it will check the length. So we want the token length of 4-figure, so we will have something like this. If token is less than 1000 or one, will have or token greater than or equal to 10,000, we will have to throw exception. Okay, let's have throw new token length exception. Token length exception. Here it is. Okay, so let's have these two atros. So now we will create a controller that will use this token service, and we have a method that will check the length, that is token length manager. So let's create a new class and we will call this token controller. Okay, and we'll annotate this with @raise controller. Okay, so let's have this method. First we will start with the @get mapping, and we'll have this as token. So we'll use public of type response entity. Okay, because we will either throw a it will either return error detail or it will return a token detail. Okay, so we will create the error detail later, which will return as a response. And maybe you may ask why we create this token length exception if we will create another class to return a response. So this token length exception will not return any response. We will have this at a backend. It will inform there is exception at the backend, and we need to inform the client that there is exception as well. Okay, so let's have this as token handler, the name of this method. So we'll receive this as @request body, @request body of token details, Okay, so let's have these. Okay, the first thing we will do is to call the token manager. So we need to have a private token service, and let's generate a constructor for this. Generate constructor using this file. Okay, it's fine. And so the next thing, we will access this token service dot we have token length manager, and we will use what we receive as a request body, that is token details, and get the token. Okay, so this will return an exception. So we will surround with try catch. So let's have the first option here. So when it does not throw an exception, what we will do is we will return entity dot status will have HTTP status accepted, and we will have the body as token details. Okay, token details. So in case of if it throws exception, what we will do is let's create another class that will have the message to the response. So, and I will call this error details. Okay, so let's have this, and we'll have a field private string message. So let's generate a getters and setters for this. Go to source, generate getters and setters for this, select all and generate. Okay, it's fine. Now we will use this in the token controller. Okay, in case of the exception, first let's call what we just defined, that is arrow detail. Arrow details equal to new arrow details, and we will set the message arrow details dot, here we have set message, and we will write the token does not the, okay, so let's change this method, the length of the token. We have the message here, the token length requirement failed. Okay, so controller, and then okay, I explained that the difference between these message that we have, it will throw at the backend and we will return this message to a client for this. So that is the difference. This works in the backend, it throws this exception, and to tell the one who make the request, we have to create these arrow details again to send it to the client. Okay, so the next thing, we will return the arrow details as a response body. So let's have as response entity, and this time it is a batch request, does not meet the requirement, and the body for this is arrow details. Okay, so here you see the reason we have this, because we don't know which one it will throw, which one will have either a token detail accepted or a batch request arrow detail. It is a different object, that is why we have this question mark. Okay, now let's test this in the Postman. So on, we need to change this to we will just directly access token. Okay, and the response body here will change. So let's check for the, okay, first let's see what we are having this. Go back to the token detail where we are accessing this. I think we have to save this. Okay, that is all we need to do. Okay, so it will be a token. Go back to the Postman. So we'll have this token. Remember, it is integer, and the value that we first pass, let us pass the value below, that is 1000. That is a 3-figure value. Okay, so save this and send as a request. You can see we have this message, token length requirement fail. Okay, so let's pass something that is more than 10,000, like 10,100, like this. So we will still have this message, token length requirement failed. Okay, so here let's pass a 4-figure, 1 2 3 4. Okay, So you can see it return a token. Okay, let's pass another 4-figure 1356 or 57 like this. Okay, so you can see it returns no error. So this is how we will manage exception at the endpoint level. So the next thing, in the next video, you will learn how to use add controller advice to handle this exception.